Okay, email marketing is still the single best way to market your business in 2020. Better than Facebook ads, it's better than Instagram ads because it's a list you own. Social platforms can just drop like flies at any time, but your list, that list is yours, but like everything else in business, there's a right way and a wrong way. And even if you're a total newbie to this email marketing thing, I've got your back here. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through every single thing you need to not only build deeper connections through email marketing, but how to build that list up in the first place. And I'll show you how to do it as quickly as possible. So there's a lot to cover here, so let's just dive right into it. Step one is to start to build your list in the first place. And the best part of this is you don't even need to have all the other aspects of your business in place in order to do this. All you need is one really great actionable piece of content that you can offer up in exchange for, you guessed it, their email address. Now this is what we call a lead magnet or a freebie. Not a newsletter, but something that solves a problem for your ideal customer. It can be anything from a checklist, a resource guide, a multi-day challenge, a video or audio training. It can be pretty much anything. There are just a couple requisites here. First, it has to be actionable, okay? Meaning it has to promise and deliver a result of some kind, not just, fill their head with more knowledge. And it needs a really great title. I'm telling you, the title is probably the most important part here. It has to sell the benefits and the end result while, piquing their curiosity at the same time. So use terms like expert secrets, little known tips, simple or fast. And once you've decided on the best topic, title, and format for your lead magnet, it's time to get to work on actually developing it. So basically just compile all the best resources you can find to research it and then start writing or scripting it. And while you're doing this, ask yourself as you go, is this actionable? Is it going to get someone from where they are now any closer to where they want to be? Also, don't make the really common mistake of making your freebie basically a thinly veiled sales pitch. You can definitely pitch your services later, but this is not the time for it. The purpose of your lead magnet or freebie is just to get the email address. And then you can start building trust with your potential new customer. Okay, so after you've created your freebie, you need to make a dedicated space for it on your website. Specifically, what I mean is a place where people can learn about it and actually sign up for it. So I recommend a standalone page for it, similar to this one. That compelling title, along with a few benefits and a really easy to see sign up box, should be front and center. So then you can use the rest of the page to give even more details to get them really excited about it. Testimonials can work great here. So if you did a good job on your lead magnet, you're definitely going to get some emails about it once you go live, people thanking you for it. So keep those emails so you can repurpose them as social proof right on your sign up page. And if you want to see how you can really easily create an opt-in page like this one, I did make a video tutorial on it, just all for beginners. So just click right up here for that. I also like to add this sign up section at the bottom of every single page of my website. That way, no matter what page they're on, they always have a chance to get on my list. Okay, so now that we have a way to get people on your list, now let's switch gears and talk a little bit more about what to do with them once you have them. So the first thing to think about is you have to choose an email delivery platform that's going to, auto deliver that lead magnet and then the email nurture campaign afterwards. And you have lots of choices here. Some are free to start, some have a free trial, some are free up to a certain number of subscribers, and some are easy to use and some are really complex to use. So I happen to use Drip and I like it a lot. But I'm telling you, it can get really expensive the more people you get on your list. I've got about 10,000 now, and I pay close to $200 a month for that. So it's not really that cheap. And most small businesses, they use MailChimp just because I think they do the most advertising and they're the most out there. And they are actually really easy to use as well. So what I don't like about MailChimp, and it's actually kind of a big deal, their emails generally get flagged to go into the promotions tab in people's mail provider. So rather than being in their primary inbox, they get sent to promotions where all the other, business emails end up. So what happens then is most people don't end up seeing those emails. So this is up to you. MailChimp is definitely a much more economical option. But I think personally it's worth it to pay more to get people to actually see your emails. You're going to all the trouble to do this. It would be a real shame to have people not even see them. So then once you make your choice of email providers, what you need to do is set up your freebie delivery email. So this is the email that they get once they opt in to your list, and then it automatically gives them the lead magnet. So I recommend handling this really simply. Just write a really simple email as if you were sending a really cool piece of content to a friend. Just reiterate in the email how it's going to help them, and then just link to the piece of content right inside the email. So then they have what they signed up for, and you've got a new email address. But guess what? We're not finished yet, not even close. The real power of email marketing is not in just delivering the lead magnet, it's in the repetition that comes afterwards. So the idea being they hear from you over and over again, building a kind of relationship with you over time. So this truly is just the beginning of it. So what you want to do after you've delivered the freebie they signed up for, you want to start a weekly campaign. So I definitely recommend one a week. I think that's a sweet spot that's not too overwhelming to you or to your list, right? You don't want to have to take on your job is not to write emails all day. You've got other things to do, and they probably do as well. So once a week is the timing that I like best. So just write and send one helpful email every week. And the best part is you don't have to keep going forever with this. So what you do is you write a series of emails that can just be put on automation when you're done, and they can be sent out in order to each new subscriber regardless of when they signed up for your list. Whether it's tomorrow or 2 years from now, they're gonna get the same emails timed out a week apart. So how many of these emails do you need to write? My rule of thumb here is think of how long it typically takes your client to make up their mind if they want to work with you or not. So from the point where someone comes to your website, how long does it take them to make up their mind to either choose you or choose a competitor or decide to do nothing at all? So if that's 2 weeks, what if it's 8 months? Whatever that timing tends to be, that is how many emails you want to come up with. And then as you write these emails, and by the way, you don't have to sit down and write all of them at one time, right? You can write them once a week. And then as you add a new one to the pile, you basically just add it to the end of the email sequence so that every new subscriber just gets them in the right order each a week apart. So now let's talk about what goes inside these emails. So each should have a single focus. And again, we're talking helpful content here. We're not talking promotional emails, but you can do any kind of a mixture of content. So what you can do is on one email, you can link to an article on your blog, or if you have a video, on YouTube, you can link to that. Or maybe you have a podcast, so link to every new episode you come up with. Or it can be really simple and just be a really short tip in the email itself. And, you don't actually have to come up with all this content yourself either. You can just link to other articles or other podcasts or videos that you had nothing to do with coming up with, but you're not claiming credit for them. You're just linking to them and telling them why this particular piece of content would be beneficial for them to read. All right, so now let's talk design for a second. So all of these email providers, Drip, MailChimp, they come with these really pretty templates, and they can be tempting to use because you think they're going to make you come across as really professional and polished, and it's just one of those kind of sexy things businesses like to take advantage of. But I'm telling you, you want to resist the temptation to do that. Rather than sending these really kind of polished corporate-looking emails, you want to style your emails very plainly, like you're writing it to a friend, not a corporation sending spam. And the other thing too, feel free to kind of use images here and there in your emails to spice things up and draw interest, but you want to use them wisely, and you want to use them kind of sparingly because images can trigger that spam folder or the promotions folder if you go overboard with them. So what I like to do when I talk about using them wisely, I like to use a fun GIF, or if I'm linking to a video inside the email, I'll include a nice little thumbnail of the video and link it right to it. So that's the design part. What about the tone? Another big mistake a lot of people make is by trying to write these emails very corporate, very professionally. They think that's going to make them come across in a way that people are going to be more drawn to work with you. Honestly, it's the opposite. Friendly is the word here. That goes for your website too, but it goes especially for email. Don't try to write like a company. Try to write like a person. There's such a trend right now that people are choosing more and more to work with businesses based on the people that they want to work with, not because, oh, this company is the most professional company. Even when you're talking lawyers and doctors, people respond to real human beings. So use emojis if it's appropriate, and definitely break up your text into really short paragraphs and use lists in it if they make sense. It just helps to break it all up. No one ever wants to read a big wall of text. So you may be thinking right now, okay, Wes, so I'm sending all this helpful content. When is it time for me to actually make some money here and sell my services? And there's absolutely a time and a place to do that. So my rule here is 1 out of every 4 emails can be purely promotional. So you send 3 really action-packed, helpful content emails, trying to build that connection with them like a helpful, trusted guide. And then you send 1 promo email. But, what I like to do here even is make it sound like you're a friend doing them a solid, letting them know about something that how you can help them even further. And even in those emails that are pure value, I also think it's fine to close those emails out with your signature, followed by a PS, which includes what I would consider a really kind of soft close, or a light sales pitch. Something like, if you want to see how I can help you get started, I'd love to talk to you. Just click here to set up a one-on-one consultation. And something like that doesn't feel intrusive. It actually feels like you're helping them. So now let's talk about subject lines. So subject lines are arguably the most important part of your whole email marketing campaign. The right subject line makes the difference between getting it opened or just having it sit in that inbox, never to be read. And I actually recommend spending just as much time on the subject line as the whole email itself. I know it sounds crazy, but I do actually recommend coming up with 5 to 10 subject lines for every email and just really asking yourself, which of these feels the most clickable? Now, there are so many kinds of subject lines that work amazingly well, and I did make a whole video about the ones that I personally know to work the best. So go ahead and click on this video and watch it and just decide which of those proven subject line formulas you want to put to good use. So go ahead and click here and I'll see you there.